Have you noticed how some rooms drain you no matter how well you perform? How certain arguments make you look worse the longer you speak? How a woman who adored your edge in private rewrites you as arrogant the moment the frame moves to an audience? You are not cursed. You are fighting on terrain that pays your enemy. Niccolò Machiavelli wrote for men who must keep their state under pressure, and his first counsel is to choose the ground. Fortune is weather, but the battlefield is often optional. The one who selects the arena, the timing, and the rules already owns half the outcome. Stop proving yourself in courts that reward tone over truth. Stop chasing contests rigged to praise the wrong skill. Stop bleeding in no-win fights because pride cannot bear silence. Pick ground that pays your strengths and you will look lucky. Walk into swamps and you will call yourself doomed. What follows is a straight campaign plan in Machiavelli's key across love, work, reputation, and conflict, so you can set the field, frame the debate, and make consequence your ally. Machiavelli begins with a blunt geometry. Power multiplies when it moves on favorable ground and evaporates when it climbs uphill for vanity. Modern life is a market of arenas with hidden price tags. Some rooms reward certainty dressed as compassion. Some reward delivery without display. Some feed on spectacle. Some pay in silence. Naive men ask whether they are right. Strategic men ask whether this room pays rightness or pays theatre. If the currency is performance, facts are props, and whoever holds the microphone writes the minutes. Your evidence is already discounted. You do not owe every room your best case. You owe your cause the ground that will not waste it. Begin with dating, since the feedback loop is immediate. Private chemistry rewards clarity and calm. Public stages often reward narrative and alliance. If a partner insists on litigating your relationship in group chats, you have entered a forum that pays coalition, not repair. Decline the venue. State that serious topics belong at a table where truth can be checked and heat can cool, then hold to it. When she refuses and seeks leverage through audience, the matter is decided. The battlefield is a test, not only of you, but of the other's intentions. Machiavelli's counsel, "A wise man does at once what the fool does at last," applies here. Exit early from courts that cannot deliver justice. Your silence is not weakness, it is refusal to fund a swamp. Work is similar. Some teams pay consensus talk, others pay shipped results. If your strength is precise execution under time, stop campaigning in brainstorming marathons where loudness buys credit. Volunteer for hard deadlines, own a pipeline, build a ledger that cannot be spun. Frame debates on outcomes and dates, push choices toward tests and prototypes, not panels and surveys. You are choosing ground where your edge is visible. The man who walks into hostile optics for the thrill of conquest loses respect the moment optics win. The man who drags decisions to verifiable ground turns spectators into witnesses. People call that luck. Machiavelli called it prudence with teeth. Terrain selection begins with honest self-inventory. Machiavelli praised princes who knew their arms, cavalry for fields, infantry for sieges. Translate that into your life. If your strength is long attention and steady craft, select arenas that compound, not arenas that reset every day. If your edge is decisive speech that shortens confusion, bring conversations into formats that cap time and force owners, not into threads that reward endless shade. If your gift is presence under chaos, take point in crises where calm is currency, not in salons where eloquence is the only price. The wrong ground makes you look like a caricature of your virtues. The right ground turns those virtues into law. In relationships, your battlefield is frame. Does the bond define truth by pattern or by mood? If mood is sovereign, fights are weather. Winners are whoever can cry loudest or freeze longest. If pattern is sovereign, both of you must answer to reality. You can move the bond toward pattern by insisting on clear rules for repair, time boxes for conflict, and evidence for claims. If that insistence is shamed as control, you have learned that the preferred terrain is fog. Machiavelli's line about men judging by the eye applies. Rooms judge what they can see. Make the repair visible, schedule the conversation, define the standard in one sentence. You are building ground where your steadiness pays. Do the same in reputation. Do not argue with whispers. Post receipts. When accusation thrives in air, reduce altitude. Invite direct conversation with witness and deadline. If the other party refuses, the field announces itself. You do not convert swamps into roads by sincerity. You pick a road, you invite them there, then you march on regardless. The pride of a good man tempts him to demonstrate virtue under hostile optics, as if nobility can sanctify a rigged game. Machiavelli would laugh at that romance. Win where winning serves the city, preserve strength where defeat would feed your enemies, and pay your vanity by private stoicism, not by public suicide. The test for chosen ground is boredom. Favorable terrain often feels less dramatic because it removes fuel from manipulation. If your new arenas seem quiet and your old anxieties accuse you of being dull, take the accusation as praise. The prince who wants applause chooses plazas. The prince who wants peace chooses walls and works. Choose walls and works. Framing is warfare by language. Machiavelli knew that definitions decide before data arrives. He advised princes to narrate necessity before enemies could narrate cruelty. In your life, you frame debates by naming the purpose and the metric. In love, frame conflict as repair, not performance. We are solving for trust by pattern is a frame. It forces both parties to count behaviors, not adjectives. In work, frame meetings as decisions under risk, not therapy for opinions. We are choosing between two imperfect options by Friday is a frame. It forbids the endless expansion that drains decisive men. Whoever sets the frame decides what counts as a win, which directs incentives, which directs behavior. That is battlefield engineering. Anticipate the counter. People who profit from fog will fight the frame, since fog keeps their leverage. They will accuse you of coldness, control, or fragility. Accept the fee and continue. You are not outlawing feelings. You are outlawing infinite time and unfalsifiable claims. A battle without end is a trap for men who mistake stamina for strategy. Machiavelli's maxim about injuries done at once and benefits given little by little becomes procedural. Make the hard call quickly under the frame you set, then administer care in steady doses. Long speeches spoil law. Small, consistent kindness cements it. Do not forget optics. Framing is not merely true, it must appear legitimate to third parties who matter. If you lead a team, publicize the frame before crisis. Teach it while calm, so that during heat it is recognized as standard, not as a weapon. If you are dating, state your repair code early, not while hurt, so that invoking it later reads as fidelity, not as a gambit. Machiavelli wrote that men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand, meaning process must be seen. If the frame lives only in your head, you will look arbitrary when you enforce it. If the frame lives in the culture, you will look lawful. Finally, know when to refuse framing entirely. Some arenas are designed to eat your time whatever you say. Comment sections pay outrage, tribunals pay confession, group texts pay spectacle. Your presence funds the show. The adult move is not a better speech. It is a different room, framed by exit, where you cannot be misquoted, you cannot be tried by rumor, where your hands are building, your critics are left to talk to themselves. Machiavelli urged princes to fight when the terms are favorable and to avoid battle when the costs would bleed future campaigns. Pride resists this. The itch to answer every slight, to chase every rumor, to refute every half-truth, feels like honor. It wastes armies. The no-win fight has signatures. The referee is the opponent. The rules are fluid. The audience is hostile. And the victory condition is your public self-negation. Enter, and you feed the machine that grinds you. Decline, and you are called coward by those who needed your energy to power their court. Choose the insult. Save your force. In romance, the no-win fight is the loop that begins with a demand to read your mind, escalates into tone trials, and ends with a ledger that ignores your repair. The battlefield here pays rumination and punishes action. Declare a ceasefire by changing the ground. I love you. I will not fight past midnight. Here is when we resume. Here is the topic. Is not evasion. It is strategy that prevents mutual ruin. If this discipline is mocked as unromantic, understand that the romance on offer is disaster theater. You cannot heal a bond inside a script that rewards destruction. Either the script changes or the cast must. In workplaces, the no-win fight is the principal debate against people who are paid by conflict rather than by delivery. You can spot it by repetition. The same 3 objections return each week, and each week no alternative plan is offered. Move the battle to a pilot, a prototype, a ship date. Invite critics to own a counter-experiment with the same standard. If they refuse, you have unmanned their leverage. Report upwards in terms of experiments run and results, not in terms of feeling stirred. Leadership that pays results will see the truth. Leadership that pays mood was never your battlefield. With family and friends, the no-win fight often hides inside nostalgia. You are summoned to defend who you became against an old template. The incentive is for you to shrink so others can relax. Machiavelli would advise a ceremonial respect paired with a practical boundary. Honor the past at holidays, protect the present with distance where needed, and refuse to debate your adulthood in circles that prefer the earlier version of you. You are a state. Keep it. Optics are terrain features. Machiavelli knew that cities, rivers, and hills determine tactics. Today, cameras, platforms, and records play the same role. Some men lose because they fight in mediums that reverse their strengths. The decisive introvert who leads face-to-face is lured into performative spaces where charisma beats clarity. The man whose value is long-form is tempted to duel in short snippets, where context dies and the loudest wins. Recover your ground. Write where the full case can be seen, and link the summary to the source. Speak in rooms where questions follow statements and decisions follow questions. Decline ambush interviews, hot mic panels, and baited threads. You do not owe your best thinking to machines trained to monetize misreadings. Signals are part of this fieldcraft. Machiavelli warned that a prince must avoid being despised, which today means stop advertising incentives for contempt. Disorder, lateness, contradiction, and gossip are invitations to be framed by others. Order, punctuality, coherence, and confidentiality are refusals of that frame. Your appearance should compress your standard into a glance. A partner should infer, before you speak, that you do not argue in public. A team should know, before a crisis, that you do not blame under pressure. An adversary should suspect, before trying, that you will not chase bait. These suspicions save campaigns no one sees. Selection is the final optic. Pick opponents whose defeat improves the city, not your ego. Publicly wrestling clowns makes you a clown's colleague. Privately correcting serious rivals makes you a builder. Challenge ideas that waste citizen time and money. Mentor men whose growth raises your flank, and ignore noise that wants rent in your head. Machiavelli's reputation for ruthlessness hides a civic logic. Choose useful battles so your victories are public goods. Then let that public good defend you when slander arrives. Cities remember who sealed the breach, not who shouted loudest from the wall. Your archive is your ally. Keep a simple ledger of promises made and promises kept, decisions under risk and results. When frames tighten, you will not scramble for witnesses. You will point quietly to patterns. In an age that pays stories, patterns are rebellion. They move audiences from feeling to respect. All strategy resolves into timing. Machiavelli wrote that fortune is a woman who favors the bold, especially the young who strike before she hardens. Boldness is not noise. It is the ability to act when the window is open and to wait when the cost is ruin. Choosing your battlefield includes choosing your moment. Launch when attention and capacity overlap. Confront when the witness is ready and the record is ripe. End when repair will only fund the next injury. Delay when allies are gathering and your force would be wasted alone. This rhythm is not mystical. It is the humility to let seasons exist. The private fruit of chosen ground is dignity. You stop begging for justice in courts that pay drama. You stop proving edges in rooms that punish form. You stop spending nights arguing with ghosts and start building mornings that ship. Women who value men will feel the climate change around you and exhale. Women who prefer theatre will move toward stages that still light them. Employers who pay delivery will step closer. Employers who pay mood will cool. Friends who love the old chaos will test you, then either adapt or fade. All of this is selection by terrain. Expect the familiar accusations. You will be called calculating for refusing no-win fights, aloof for declining rooms that demand confession, controlling for setting frames that limit games, weak for leaving battles that prestige would admire. Machiavelli would shrug. The ledger is the judge. If your days grow quieter, if your word grows heavier, if your circle grows stronger, if your outcomes grow cleaner, the campaign is working. Men who learn to choose ground stop bleeding and start building. They do less that is visible and more that holds. You made it to the end, which already separates you from men who keep fighting in arenas that hate them. If this named the fields you must leave and the ground you must claim, break the wall with me and write one sentence you will live this week that changes the battlefield. Like this video and share it with a brother who keeps losing noble fights for lack of terrain, and subscribe if you want strategy that turns noise into order.